Hi, I'm Suoma the Lifecoach, and today we are talking about toxic in-laws. Now, toxic comes from the Greek word toxikon, which means poison. And you all know anything that comes into contact with poison is damaged or harmed. So if you have toxic in-laws, every time they come into contact with you, they have a negative effect on your happiness and your relationship is made unstable. Now, you may not necessarily like your in-laws, but if your partner has made it clear which side they're on and they refuse to tolerate their disruptive behavior, then you've got nothing to worry about. But on the other hand, if your partner refuses to acknowledge that his or her parents or siblings are a problem and they refuse to confront their disruptive attitude, then your relationship is in jeopardy. Now, you may experience the impact of toxic in-laws in 3 stages. The first stage is that you don't really know them and you're in a really good and happy relationship until you're already part of the family, and then you start getting to know them, in which case it is too late. Number 2, you're not even an actual threat until your partner actually starts committing to you and starts talking about marriage. Then your in-laws start being threatened by you. Or number 3, when you only feel their impact when you or your partner is expecting a child, or you guys have children, and then your in-laws feel the need to interfere in how to run the management of your children. Now, the problem with toxic in-laws is that they don't respect or recognize the boundaries within your relationship or marriage. On the other hand, they also don't respect the boundaries between themselves and the person that you're in a relationship with, which in turn translates into a disrespect for you and the relationship you have with their brother, sister, or daughter and son. I'm going to give you 4 signs of a toxic in-law. Number 1 is that they are very demanding of your partner's time and energy. Now, they seem to believe that the sole purpose of your partner's life is to serve them and make time for them. So they call consistently and insistently. They demand that your partner spends time with them, sometimes over and above the priorities of your relationship. They're basically very demanding, and it's very normal if their parent or sibling is ill and might need a lot of attention every now and then. But a toxic in-law literally just wants a lot of time spent on them and a lot of energy, and sometimes even money as well. So basically they're very draining. Number 2, toxic in-laws interfere with your life. They basically don't understand the concept of mind your own business. So they give unsolicited advice. They try to advise you on how to raise your children, how to manage your financial affairs, what to wear, how to iron your husband's clothes, basically what to do with your holiday, and they basically just interfere with your overall life, and they drag you into arguments and they force you to be rude and just raise your blood pressure. Number 3, toxic in-laws refuse to acknowledge you or the relationship. So they resort to either acting like you don't exist or treating you like trash and so rudely. So they do things like forget your name or invite your spouse to family events and not invite you. They act like your children are just the children of your partner and not yours. They do weird stuff like that. They call home and they don't even greet you or want to speak to you. They come visit and they treat you like the waitress or stuff like that. And they basically resort to treating you so rudely and bring out the devil in you. Last but not least, number 4, and this is their favorite thing to do, is they drive a wedge between you and your partner. So it works something like this. If you and your in-law are having a disagreement and you obviously get pissed or annoyed and you do tell your partner about it, what your in-law will do is probably run to your partner and tell them how you've mistreated them, and your partner will say things like, why can't you just get along? Why, I just want you to be nice to my mother or my sister or whatever the case may be. And sometimes they might say things like, I just want you guys to work it out and I don't want to get involved, which leads you to feeling unsupported or misunderstood by your partner. And this just means that your in-laws have successfully managed to drive a wedge between the two of you. That's it with the signs of a toxic in-law. Now, if you suspect that your in-laws are toxic, you have to speak to your partner and insist that they confront their parents or siblings and set boundaries in their relationship. And the same goes for you if your parents are being the toxic in-laws. Now, once you have decided to marry somebody, it means your spouse has become your priority and your family. It doesn't mean that you have to ignore everybody else, but it does mean that your spouse becomes your priority. And it's very disrespectful if the both of you allow the in-laws to run your affairs, and it just means that your priorities are quite mixed up. That's it from me this week. Please do not allow your parents or your siblings to run your relationship or your marriage. Set your priorities straight and set your boundaries in order to protect your relationship. I'll see you again next week. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.